Hi, good afternoon, everybody. This is Frank Bryant back in the office again after a short term of being sick and coming to you live for the dojo. What we do here is we take a minute during our midday and we open up the floor. We open up the floor for people to come in and discuss what they're dealing with the sales, how's the day going, and it's an open format, so we take conversations and questions as they come, and also you will see people coming in and leaving the dojo to come back to basis, so conduct business. So yeah, it's just the way it is. We are a live sales floor, so we constantly have things going on. So without ado, now that I'm rested and not sick, so let's start off. Stephen Grip, everybody.
Hello.
So
Yeah, I mean it's only me and you so far today because it's the first day of the month, so it's super busy on the floor. People will probably be coming in, in a little bit, but yeah, it's the beginning of the third quarter, so we're having a lot of agents talking to people who we have been pipelining for today, wanting to get their plans back over. So especially today, it's a very busy day. So.
Yep. And that's always a good thing.
Yes.
So
yeah. So let's talk about this. We've been talking about clients for the past week.
Mhm.
Let's talk about agents. I've been working with new agents, potential agents coming on the floor. I was talking to Brandon about having our company start to grow and get new agents. So he gave me a description of what he envisions a good or a great agent. So let me ask you, like you've been training agents for a very long time, what would be a good, not just potential new agent, but a good potential person to come in here and do well in insurance, Medicare insurance?
Well, by the way, congratulations on this position. If people don't know, you've been killing it for so long that we actually said, hey, start running, getting people on board. I mean, I really appreciate it. Well deserved.
It's exciting. It's very exciting.
So, it can be very hard because what you do is you do a lot of projection, right? We all project who we want to be, which is kind of a reflection of ourselves. But what I like is people who have a conscientious, but also it's a weird balance. I want people that are highly conscientious, right? These people like to get stuff done. They don't like to lose. They like to actually, they like that achievement of actually getting something done. Mm-hmm. But I also like people who they're extroverts, yes. Mm-hmm. But one of the things I don't look for is someone that's super agreeable, because those people tend to get washed out. If you're super agreeable and you don't have a line in the sand, any line in the sand, then people are just going to keep on bailing on you as clients and as actual team members. I mean, we try to bring people in with a potential for future growth in the organization. So I've always had a very big problem myself, which is I am an optimist, right?
Yes.
I'm an optimist, and I've realized over the years that anyone can come in and BS me for an hour or whatever it takes to go through an interview. And since I'm a salesperson, I'm trying to sell them. I'm really good at it.
Yes.
But at the same time, I don't really have a good gauge personally of, hey, is this person going to make it? And so I'm looking for people that have the potential of making it and being successful, because if they're not, then they're going to become toxic. So I need people that are high conscientious and achievement oriented. I need people that have a whole lot of no quitting in them, right? And I need people who are willing to get on the phone, be extroverted, engage in conversations. And that doesn't necessarily mean agreeable.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So it's also, if you can come into an organization and show me results from your previous positions. A lot of people have a misconception. It's just because they're looking for a position means they weren't good at their last. That's not true. We've seen personally a whole lot of people who are really good at what they do, but the organization just wasn't good at what it did.
Right.
I mean, you're a great example. Both of y'all, Penny, y'all are great examples of that. And that's kind of hard because a lot of people look at some organizations and it's hard for them to suss out what's going. what's going on with that. And it was really, really big problem that we have, or at least I have personally, which is I tend to go, hey, obviously we can make it work here. Well, not always, and sometimes that puts an undue burden on the rest of the floor because of my bad decision. I will tell you this, I'm really good at correcting those decisions once they occur.
Right.
But I would love not to.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. All right. So as far as the ideal person, man, I mean, just get them in, get it done.
Yeah.
I mean, they have to have the mentality to come and get it done. You kind of see people when they first go, if you're just kind of sitting around like, well, I'm looking for the next thing to do. Ooh, that's kind of a hard thing to overcome where people don't have initiative.
Yeah.
So is that a good answer?
It's very good.
I don't think that's really great because I went drilling it down to like,
Yeah. No, we were just talking about how, we could ask you, like you are a top agent. You are starting to ramp up to AEP where you're going to be doing very well. What is your mindset that keeps you optimistic and keeps you going to make sure that you are staying successful?
Well, you can't let current day or situation or whatever get you down. Just like, oh, well, if I couldn't help this person, sometimes it's because they don't want help, and that's okay. They don't have to.
Right.
They don't have to have help. But I try to not certainly I don't take things personally, but I try to understand that everybody's situation is different, and sometimes they're not in the mood to take care of themselves, even if they think this might be a good idea. They want to call another time, and we all know we're busy, so it doesn't always work out. But I try to not worry about all that. Just love the one you're with.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, who I'm talking to now, that's where I am. I'm focused on that person. What do they need? How can I help them get what they need? Even if it's connecting them to their customer service on their card or whatever, even if it's not something I can help with that'll change their plan for them and make that better. I'm just happy to help people. And I think the stories that we hear and the people we talk to make us more valuable salespeople, because understanding what's happening out there in the United States with real people now, really what's going on now, keeps us in touch with the whole nation and what kinds of things people need help with. Some people don't even know exactly what they need help with or know what to ask. But once we've been talking to some of these people and you really have a good feel for what's going on in the U.S. and what people need, want, and you get more and more ideas. And our floor is such a great group of people, resourceful people who really can help a lot, find ways to help people with what little problems or big problems, whatever they have going on. So, I love helping people, and I love being able to talk with them, not just get them on the phone. Let's get this done and get off the phone.
Right.
I love being able to talk to people.
Well, and there's the other component of that too, which is, and we talk to lead providers a lot. A lot of times the feedback we get is, well, your calls, they're lasting a long time. Maybe if you cut down that talk time, you could get to more leads, which I'm like, well, it's a double-edged sword there, because we spend a lot of money just fretting it away by first 30 seconds. Are you looking to save money? Oh, you don't want it? Bye. Well, how many times have we sold someone a very healthy sized final expense policy because they already had the best plan? Well, are you going to be able to do that if you don't do your discovery and rapport building and all the other things? Right. So the concept of not measuring by that metric of, you have to get down to it and do it right away. So much of what I see out there is literally deprogramming. That's another thing coming in. There's a lot of deprogramming that has to happen with agents that are out there in the world, because they have been trained to seek immediate, this is going to be a 5-minute transaction, make it as, and that's just not the way the real world works with human interaction. Yeah. So what's up?
Hey, sorry to interrupt.
No.
I know you are talking about important things.
Yeah. So but to finish that off, just to take the to take the little bit of the long road and explore all that opportunity, it's very important. It's very important.
What I've learned being a successful agent is, even though Medicare is a government entity, it is constantly changing.
Right.
It is constantly changing.
Yep.
And we are talking to people that hate change.
That's true.
You know? So when I'm talking to somebody and I'm building a rapport, discovery, blah, 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 I'm letting them know, like, hey, I'm here because you are somebody that lives your life the way that you live it. And I want to have a policy for you that fits your life.
Yes.
And the whole purpose of this discovery is, it's not that I want to figure out what plan fits your needs. I need to know who you are.
Right.
You know? And I need to know what's going on with your life.
Right.
And because Medicare, ironically, is such influx all the time, I just read that this might be the first year in the history of Medicare where the Part B premium might decrease because they misjudged the reason for the increase, the jump.
Heads up, it's actually not the first time in history that's decreased.
I must have missed that.
This is one of the things that comes from doing this for a long time. The people that write about this stuff, they tend to go, it's the first time in history.
Right.
Well, it's the first time you've seen it.
Right.
We've actually seen it a couple of times where it's gone up and down.
Okay, good.
So it does happen, and that flux is there.
Yeah.
And it might be the most substantial decrease.
Yes.
But
because it was the most substantial increase.
ooh, they love taking, yeah, they loved that jump, didn't they? Oh,
well, the
man.
reason for the jump was for that medication that was supposed to be Part B, this new innovative Alzheimer's medication. They're like, it went from 148 to 170. And it's like, oh my goodness, what a jump, you know?
Right.
And everyone's like, why such a significant jump? Was it because of COVID, or was it because of, all these, no, it was because there was this innovative Alzheimer's medication that was going to be helping people stop their Alzheimer's problems. And 4 months later, they say, well, no, that's going to be done through Part D now.
Yeah, like it should be.
Yeah, exactly. So now Medicare is like, oh, head scratch, head scratch, you know? So now, but that's what we got.
If they did nothing, everyone would be better off.
Right?
Right.
But that's the thing. Now they're going to
just
move
sat
it.
there and left it and just covered it and whatever.
You just take a minute to
I mean,
look
all they're
at
doing
it.
is print money anyway.
Yeah.
They all going to come out like, it's $42 less this year.
Yeah.
Go to the hospital, or more this year. And it's like cost us $100 billion for them to figure out. Probably not that much, but like,
Right.
but yeah, say it's like 10 million.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Well, what I've learned is this: because I have such a passion for education, when I first started, I would be like, let me educate them on this. But they don't need to know about that. They don't care about that. They just understand that, wow, Medicare is always changing.
Right.
And I don't want to continuously have to deal with these changes. Exactly. That's where I come in. Talk to me about what's going on with your life.
Yeah.
Talk to me about how you live your life. Are you somebody that travels? Are you somebody that is very sick all the time? You need to go to the doctors all the time?
Right.
You know, my job is to, as we always say, mitigate risk.
Right.
I just want to make sure. I want to be talking to you as little as possible, but when we do have conversations, we're going to have very deep, heartfelt conversations.
Right.
Because it's very important to your life.
Yeah, well, I mean, what you just said is really important. A lot of people are afraid of change, but what are you afraid of? What are you afraid of changing? Is it a bigger deal to get off of Blue Cross Blue Shield, and that's the change you're worried about? But what about, well, Blue Cross Blue Shield doesn't take your doctors.
Yeah.
What's a bigger change for you?
Yeah.
You know, well, you've been
This
going to your
isn't
doctor.
the last insurance policy you may ever need, but I'm definitely the last insurance agent you'll ever need.
Right.
And our agency is the last agency you'll ever need, or your multiple generations of your family will ever need. Because you don't want to worry about this. This is what we do every day. We will always have the best thing for you and always be on top of it. That's what's different than us. You know, call me. I'm actually allowed to talk to you after I enroll you.
Right. Oh my God.
My favorite line doing that is if you get somebody who like, oh, just switched, say like June 1st or May 1st, to go, okay, what was their name?
Yeah.
Where did they work? What's their phone
Right.
number?
Yeah.
They don't
Have
know.
they called you since?
Yeah.
And usually everybody goes, no, they haven't. And I go, exactly. We've already been on the phone, what, an hour and a half? Yeah, I go, how long did they take? 10 minutes.
Yeah.
There you go.
And a lot of it comes from the fact that people have this this overt focus on what they've done and what their day actually looks like. And it's like, well, I have like 300 clients. I don't have time to call them all the time. I'm like, well, no, you only have 300 clients. You can't call someone on their birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, you have like a birthday once or twice every other day at that point. Well, what's stopping you? You know, I think it's just a matter of people kind of look at it and go, I don't want to short my book. I don't want to do that. And
I have people text me pictures of our live stream right
Oh, nice.
now. Yeah.
Do they know you know what it looks like?
They saw me check my phone, and then they're like, I see you checking your phone.
I see you checking your phone. Yeah.
All seeing eye in the sky there.
Yeah.
And now they see me saying that, and they're texting me.
Who do we need to shout out to? No.
We'll keep it secret. It's one of your Raven fans.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
I have those?
She doesn't like Jacob very much, but she loves you.
Oh,
What?
that's par for the course.
You want to hear something crazy? I had a lady, both of you guys, I had a lady tell me yesterday, she was like, you sound like you drank too much coffee. You need to slow down talking. And I go,
Jacob?
"No,
We're talking about Jacob Friday?
I go, what?
Yeah.
And she goes,
You want
I'm-
to see Slickers
she
from
goes,
New Jersey?
she goes, I just had a long day. I just moved. I'm tired. And I go, okay. I know you've had a long day. If we need to look at this, and it took me like 30 minutes to get out a paragraph. So I was like, let's talk on Tuesday after you've slept.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. You just talked so fast in the beginning, and I go, I could write this lady a letter and mail it to her and get there quicker than the conversation.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes we get caught up, and especially on our floor, it gets really busy really fast.
Like today.
Like today, it started off a little slow, and then they started bam, and then the phone's ringing, everyone's on the phone.
Right.
Good problem to have, right?
Correct.
But it also kind of weighs on people where they try to rush, and then you run into that cycle of, phone's ringing, I gotta hurry up on this one. Nope, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. But that ringer is on the floor because we need to know if you're off the phone, pick it up,
Right.
right? Because that little thing with your headset, you don't hear your headset if it's not on your head.
I have something I want to discuss.
Sure.
It's on my mind a lot. You've heard me preach about it forever, but it's focused attention.
Mm-hmm.
The world is increasingly designed to suck your attention away from you, to keep you distracted and all that. It's not a big conspiracy theory, but it's right now we're recording this, so someone's attention will be taken and watch this. And we're hoping to give them value, but there's a million other people who are trying to do the same thing. And then these things are going off nonstop.
Constantly.
And, and most people have it where notifications or big bells go off and all that. I've had people, like, I send a text message at 1 o'clock in the morning because I want to get it in the morning. And they, like, wake up. Oh, I'm sorry, I woke up. What did you do? Really? I mean, but, like, there's all of this. Yesterday, Shrek and I have been trying to solve a problem based on our commission payment technology that we'll be releasing a couple months from now.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had it for 10 years and all that. It's worked for us. We're trying to make it forward compatible where it duplicates and does everything for everyone in a whole bunch of cool ways and all this. But there's some fundamental data issues. Well, we had a 2.5-hour meeting. And at the end of that, it got to where it got really silent. And we started, okay. When when you're at a breakthrough, the brain starts trying to beat it up from all kinds of sides, and there's no way to do it. Anyway, so we went home after that meeting, said, I'm going to go home and try to break it and all that. I came back in, not broken. That focused conversation we had, working through it, two minds, hyper-focused, beating everything up from every angle and all that. Not only on our next little thing that we're trying to do, which first of all will save one full-time employee's 95% of her time on this release that we're doing, but it makes it forward compatible. Probably solved about what we expected about 2.5 months of development.
That's huge
because we found a breakthrough on that, and it's it goes back to the thing like It goes back into sales as well, because that connection only happens in that hour and a half you're talking to that person. That breakthrough, and there's emotional breakthroughs, there's mental breakthroughs, there's the big solutions. Any kind of breakthrough only seems to come after focused attention. When people are distracted, bouncing all over the place and all that, their minds aren't 100% in it, and you're not into that next level of concentration. You know what I mean? It's like when you start working on a complex problem, you get that deep into it. Someone comes up, hey man, I got a blah, blah, blah. You don't get that focus back.
No.
It almost never happens. And so it's, for anyone listening out here and for all of us, like, you know, it's so important as the world's trying to take us away from that, to make sure that there are, you know, that we have, like with our customers, that focused attention with no distractions. And then we make that time for ourselves as well. Because, I mean, like I said, 2.5 hours, super deep wired in focus, saved a couple months worth of work and a full-time employee's job all the time. Now she's free to do some other stuff that we have some big needs for and take us to the next level on that. So like, just reiterates, I mean, I'm like on cloud 9 because of this win. And I came back in, like, did you break it? And like the whole IT team like worked on it. Like,
Right.
No, we didn't break it. It's freaking phenomenal. Like, and it turns out to be like one thought, a percentage of a percentage of a percentage, depending on if there's a split. I mean, you know, but like, I mean, that's like the trigger to remember, but it's very deep, very profound and all that. And it's based off the number one. But so anyone who can figure out what I'm talking about, be surprised. But I mean, just that one thing. And so how many times in life does everyone run around, scurrying around, running through sales, mass down, blah, 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 and they got to do it forever. But if you stop, you focus, you take care of things right, all of a sudden that problem's solved. Now you're on a new plateau. Right? Focused attention. That's my soapbox today. I'm out.
Well, I like the concept of it because I hear a lot of agents, they'll come to a realization, like something will happen and they'll think that that is the one thing that got them the sale, and they'll try to replicate that over and over again. But really what ends up happening is they're taking their time and they're just spending all their focus on their client, and their client tells them, this is the one thing I really care about. And then they go, oh, okay. Well, they missed the point that they weren't rushing and they were focusing on the client. They were doing all these other things to build that relationship. And the client said, well, I really care about this and we can solve that. But a lot of agents, they'll just go, oh, this is what all clients like.
Well,
this
they're
one little
looking
thing.
for the tips and the techniques and all that. But basically it takes an hour to build a bond with someone.
It does.
I mean, my dad and I we were going through all the stuff when he was teaching me and all that. One day I go, wait a second. Our presentation for a MedSup is all companies are the same. It's standardized. This is less. And we're doing CAPP back then. And I'm going to take good care of you. And it's a good company. Dude. Well, that took what, 30 seconds tops?
Right.
And if I go in and tell them, okay, this one's $20 less. It's a good company. I'm going to take good care of you in the same policy. I'll never make a sale. So everything else is filler content to let that time of the energies connecting with one another to build a connection with one another and demonstrating, you know, and of course, in doing that, you demonstrate your authority and your knowledge and your ability to demonstrate how you are those things and you fill the gaps in those things. But the truth is, if you just, Frank's the best at this, he'll just spend an hour when you talking about anything. He's like, let's get your stuff done.
Yeah.
And then he's got to backfill like the reasons why in the cool down almost,
Yes.
right? The point is spending that time with someone builds a connection and the trust, and then the transaction happens.
Yeah.
Right.
Jacob's been really good because he's been doing this for forever, where there's usually like the universal constants of what people like. Like people like talking about the things they like. And in the middle of conversation, I'll be going low. You'll see Jacob just Google like restaurants in this area and go, you got a lot of barbecue out there, don't you? And then all of a sudden,
But
people
I
start
like to
talking.
do it when you're doing something that's very mundane and there's not a lot of excitement. You get somebody with a med list of like 15 drugs or so. When you get to medication 6, you're zoned out. They're zoned out. When I say, okay, which one? That one's 45 milligrams. Okay. Hey, you ever been to this barbecue joint down the street? to just break up
Break up.
the monotony of it, so you're not in this just cyclical. Okay, let me get your contact information.
You do that in health questions too?
Not a lot of times in health
No.
questions, but I'll throw in a couple quips every now and then. So like if they're like dementia, and I'm like, well, not yet, and I'm like, okay, no, seriously.
Yeah.
Like, I need to know.
Yeah.
For
This is a
me,
yes or no. This ain't a comedian, and then I'll go off
So
on something.
what I would do in the field was, I mean, recommendation inside the takeaway, do it every time exactly the same. You go through the order book close, you have the takeaway. Now I would shift tone as I'm reading the health questions. I would become the big fat underwriter.
Right.
Very serious.
Mhm.
Have you, within the last 2 years, have had advice, take
Yep.
medication for, da, 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 da. By the time you get about 7 or 8 health questions in, there's 2, 3 more. Like, it's pretty serious, and like, there's a little thing in there. And I'd use the dementia question for it. And like, they say no. And so I had a story that was mostly true. It's kind of a compilation of 2 stories, but I put it together, and it was, here's the story. It was dementia and Alzheimer's disease. No. I just thought of something. I was with a client the other day, and I had laughed. And what's up? I was with a client the other day, 2 weeks ago, and it was a husband and wife team, and they were very opposite of one another. But let's see if I can tell this right. It's out of memory. They were very opposite. He was like the jokester, and she was like all business, right? And so I'm sitting here, and we're going through these questions. Every time I asked this question, and they were getting, it was the same company. They weren't saying quite as much as you were, but yeah, it was the same company, same health questions. Anyway, so I would go through, and she would, every time I finished a question, I couldn't get it out the last second. She'd go, no.
Oh,
Got the Alzheimer's question late. No. He goes, now, hold on, honey. Wait a second. Did you say Alzheimer's disease? Because I don't know. I don't quite remember her thing. And I swear she grabbed her ear back here and she just elbowed him and said, honey, that's just Parkinson's disease. Shut up and let the man do his job. I never heard something like Parkinson's disease, right?
right.
Now everyone starts laughing. Let me get through these last couple of questions. But what's seeded into that story? First of all, they're not saving as much money as you were, but they were buying anyway too, right? And I'm a good guy. Other people buy, right? So there's the social proof and all that. And then in the end, the shut up and let the man do his job as the end part on top of the joke. So it seeded all these things that led right to the logical conclusion of the sale. Was I deceptive when I was telling that story? No.
No, it's a
Wasn't
mouth.
actually a true story, but it was a compilation of several. I mean, it was based off the lady who was actually like that. It was based off the guy who said the Parkinson's disease joke, and then I added to let the man do his job because that like pushes us forward that I'm the professional
Right.
that they're following, and the close is done. And at that point, the tension raised off of the health questions and the big bad underwriter just disappeared and we're all laughing. And now it's just a matter of routine. Okay, I got to ask you a few more. Okay, great. Looks like you qualified. You have your Medicare card. I need numbers off of that. And what's your address here? Start filling it out on the deal. Now what's going to happen? Like I told you earlier, you're going to get this. This is your current coverage is going to cover you all throughout July. August 1st, you're going to get this. So you'll get something in the mail. You should get it within a couple weeks before. Have plenty of time to just take a card out and blah, blah, blah. I need 2 checks from you. So yeah, do you grow pecans back here?
It's the thing that I think, and this is for everybody out there to use, people who are doing sales, majority over the telephone, are not utilizing Google or the internet like they should.
Right.
It is so damn easy to, the first thing you see when you see city and state, just put it in there and keep it up. One of my favorite things to do with women, which I think it's hilarious because about 70% of my book is just women. And if it's
Your level.
the other 30 are the husbands of those women. That's it. But one thing I do when I'm getting a list of doctors or I'm having to put something like that in there, especially if it's like a young one, I'll go, ooh, I see why you go to this one. And they're like, what? And I go, I bet you put on, you put on perfume when you go to this doctor? Oh, hush. I'm just saying, he's a cute guy. But it's stuff like that. Like I felt so bad for one lady that she had this. I remember she lived in town somewhere in the Northeast town, about 10,000 or so, and she lived in this town that there was a dentist 2 blocks away, and she was like 86 years old. Okay, she still walked around a lot, but she was telling me, she goes, "There's this dentist down the street that I love. He's like 6'8". He's a little tan. He's redheaded." And I looked him up, and I'm like, "Did this guy take glamour shots, or did he go to dentist school?" Because it looked, it looked like the website. You're like,
Was he just like,
no, it's just, I mean, he looked like one, but I go, I understand why you love this dentist. And I go, when's the last time you went to him? She goes, I can't go to him. And I go, why? And she goes, no, this is the worst part about it. I felt so bad. I go, why can't you go to him? She goes, he doesn't take my dental plan.
we'll fix that.
I go, I was like, sweetie, he's 2 blocks down the road. Like, you walk by his office, you don't go to him? She goes, no. I go, where do you go? And she was like, the only one that takes my current dental plan is 55 miles away. And I go,
Nope.
I go, you drive 55 miles at age 86. And she goes, oh, I don't go above like 45 miles an hour. And I'm just like,
So she's not
all
messing up
because
everyone
her-
else's day.
all because her dental plan, all because her dental plan was the only one
PPO networks are destructive. I've told you. You got old ladies out on the road driving 55 miles, 45 miles an hour. I told you this managed care is not a good thing.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
so I told
You're
her,
late to work now. Thank you.
Yeah.
The new reason why we don't like managed care.
Yeah, so we called the dentist's office and we were able to find a plan where he was in network and we could start that next month. But it never would have brought up unless I would have brought up the joke. It's like, I see why you're going to this dentist.
Well-
it's not to get
Right.
your teeth fixed. And then at the end, she's like, I'm not even going to it.
Well, yeah.
I'm just looking at it. And I'm like, well,
Just sitting there looking at he has like a billboard and she's just looking at him longingly like, God, I wish that was my dentist. But there's an understandable reason why some people are afraid to do that, because a lot of other jobs that are out there, and we fell victim to this early on too, where they're like, I don't want you playing on the internet while I'm paying you.
Right.
Well, there's a difference between playing on the internet looking at cat videos versus, hey, I'm interacting with a client and I'm trying to learn more about my client and the region they're in and the things they go through. Or, you know what? Client says, have you ever seen this cat video? Now I have. Let's do this and talk about this for 10 minutes. You know, we're going to have that.
That's a big breakthrough we've had, though, is when we decided we weren't going to have those problems anymore.
Right.
We're not going to have rules against it. We're just not going to have people who would do it.
Right.
And if I walk by and Grip's goofing off on the internet, he probably shouldn't. He's breaking sacred sales floor rules, but I'm not going to be like, we are making a rule now.
Right.
And if I see you doing it all the time, we'll probably have a talk, but we don't have people in here who would do that.
Yeah.
Right. And that's for business owners out there. Like, the biggest breakthrough I've had is quit trying to play the cat and mouse game.
Mhm.
Just say, what problems do I want to have in my life, and don't have the other ones.
Yeah.
If you're having that kind of problem where you have to make rules that restrict him from being able to do his good job, because
That's it.
IT people putting in all these whitelisting IP addresses and all this other stuff, and I'm chasing all this stuff, just trying to stop someone who doesn't care to be here in the first place.
Right.
How about just, you don't care to be here, you're out. I'm going to spend some more time trying to find people who want to be here. Am I not communicating this opportunity well enough? Is the opportunity not good enough?
Mhm.
Because that's what I can control. And if I'm doing that well, then you're in or out. Like,
I'm
and
too
it's so
busy
easy
talking to play around on the internet.
Right.
And if you are looking
I'm
at
too busy
something,
talking
you're
to
looking,
people.
and if you are looking at something, you're looking at it because you're interacting with your client.
Right, so that you understand better, each other better.
And that's the biggest thing. That's the biggest revelation in the world, is when you realize, oh, wait. Am I managing to the lowest common denominator? Is that what I'm doing? Oh, no. We can't do that.
And that's why these big organizations become hellholes to work at.
Oh, yeah.
Because they can't trust their employees. It's all rules based and 7 layers of rules, and everyone trying to make sure that everyone does exactly certain things, and no one's empowered to be themselves.
And they're spending money on software where they can manage their time. It'll tell you in the system, this person has been off the phone for this length of time. You should reach out to them and tell them to get back on the phone.
Didn't you have in one of your previous jobs a workforce manager?
Yes.
A ministry of culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be joyful? No. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
I'll kind of piggyback on what makes this different here. And this was, if you were here yesterday, you would have peed your pants. This was so funny.
He
Okay.
did anyway. He was
So,
well, not quite.
I'm like-
but with
Yeah, I can just wash the sheets later. Let's go. No.
with how collaborative we are here. You're not just left on an island. So me and Penny were talking to a guy yesterday, and we were trying to figure out from the very beginning, okay, what SCP are we going to use because he's not on Medicaid? And then it finally clicked. He's turning 65 August 1st. We're like, what are we doing here?
What are we doing? Why?
So, well, then it also goes into a fact, his current Advantage plan that he's paying, he's pretty much stuck to a wheelchair,
Mm-hmm.
but they make too much money to be on Medicaid. So he's in an Advantage plan that costs $20, $30 a month or so. But he's in a state to where a Plan G, even at 65, standard rate's like $300.
Yeah.
High deductible plan's $52.
Yeah.
I doesn't plan all
And
day.
so it was one where we were going through. I mean, we were on the phone with them for an hour, just going over. Look, this is the kind of situation you're in. You know, this is what we're looking at here. We want to go through this with you, so you have no questions on what to pick. You know, selector questions, difference, and whatever it is. But by the end of it, it was so funny because we were like, look. He even said too, I called back because I knew Penny could help me.
Right
Because
there.
everybody's calling me right now. And this 64-year-old man, I said, before we get off the phone, his name was like Barry, I forgot what it was, but I go, Barry, you don't understand this, but you're getting into hot boy summer.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, what? And I go, you're a hot commodity right now. I go, you a hot boy. And he goes, what? And I go, everybody's trying to get a piece of the hot boy.
That's right.
Pretty
And-
girl in the bar.
And exactly.
And the hot young man
You're
turned
the
65.
most handsome man at the bar right now. Every girl's trying to get your phone number.
Right.
That's what's going on. But he ate it up. And he
Loves
loved
it.
He goes,
Yeah,
believe
we
me, I'm not
laughed a
talking
lot.
to anybody besides you and Penny. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's just us. But it's that one where instead of saying, you know, look, don't pick up your phone. Everybody's trying to call you right now. Just don't pick up your phone. Just call us. Just call us. Just be a human. Have an
Right.
interaction with the guy.
Yeah.
Because he's even going to remember that. Because when I left, I was like, remember, I was like, all right, look, here's Penny. Remember, stay hot. Oh, I am.
Right.
I am, and I will. He ain't going in.
Yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. You're wrapping the bubble around it because we've already done the better service.
Mhm.
You've already done that. Now you showed him what the world's like in a funny way, in a seductive way. Hot boy, what's hot boy mean, right? I have to answer, like, what are you talking about? You put it out there. Yeah, it's great. But now he sees that all these slick salespeople, all these evil people all over the world are going to try to get him, but you're the best, and you did that. And so he's told you, I'm not talking to anyone but you guys.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because of congruence. But again, calling out exactly what the reality of the situation is in the perfect way, in the perfect time, gave them the perspective they need to tell you that you're their guy.
Yeah, everybody likes a good laugh.
Yeah.
You know,
Everyone.
So you gotta get them laughing. Go back to the medical questions. I've always got a few in there. I had one lady, I said, do you use smokers tobacco products? She's like, what? I don't drive a backhoe. And I'll tell that one.
I'm a bulldozer person.
The process we're going through.
I like-
You know, women with the prostate thing. You know, there's.
You don't have a
I've got
PSA level,
many
man.
of those questions in there, but true. I mean, you have to keep them laughing. It's entertaining. It breaks it up, you know, and they love you. You know, too many people out there so serious. It's down to business. You know, let's get this done, let's get the sale. But, you know, if you have a good sense of humor and you can get them laughing, you got it done.
Yep.
You know?
I got to tell you, there's a story that Brandon had shared with me way back. Because when I first started, I came from the business to business world. And before that, I was an air traffic controller. So I was really good at going, this is this, do it, right? And I didn't really have that much of a personality talking to seniors first year I was here.
Still your main personality trait.
Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah, no, I'm very clear cut, like bam, 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 procedural. It helps out because I figure out the process of how people think. But then it also is really kind of hard because it's hard for me to bring people into that model. But yeah, so one of the things you were telling me was when you went and bought like the office furniture, and you're sitting there. It was a story that you told me. It's like, yeah, when I originally got this office furniture, we sat around. And it's your office furniture.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when you're going out and you're getting all this stuff, it's like your desk and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying, even when I bought this stuff, we just sat around and talked like about everything, football and everything else. And you went, hey, this stuff's nice. How much? Oh yeah, I'll go ahead and get that to you. We'll go ahead and get the invoice and done like that. And that was the whole conversation. You didn't even talk about furniture, and that became your guy, right? And that was really.
Well, we're talking. I know you're talking about. You're talking about the guy who sells this kind of type of furniture right here. Yeah, we've been buying stuff from him for 15 years.
15 years after that, yeah.
Now son runs a business and we worked for him. Because we were talking sales.
Right.
He was new in business. He was new in town. He had moved in town from somewhere else. And we were talking sales and entrepreneurship, building a business and all that. That's something we had in common.
Right.
I was in business. He was starting a business and all that. We talked a lot about that. And then every now and then we talk about the furniture. But yeah, and then I wanted to support his business.
Right.
Because he did it and he had a great product and got it over here and installed and all that other stuff easy and was a straight shooter. And so, yeah, he earned my business. You're right. So, yeah, to this day, I still call that company if I want to get something.
Right. And that was a big breakthrough hearing that story for me, because we were talking about other things. I was like, just people can't really connect. And I sometimes have problems connecting. And you're like, yeah, I ran into that. One of the best buying experience I ever had was when we bought this stuff here. And you told me the story and I was like, that makes sense. We talked about a lot of other things. Furniture was a secondary. I just knew I was going to do business with him.
Yeah.
And then whatever I said, hey, I like that. And he goes, okay, we'll go and do that.
Well, he also negotiated on the price.
Of course he did. I don't.
Not as much anymore, though.
Not as much anymore.
Advantage of my loyalty.
Yeah.
His son is. It's his son.
Well, and I just find that that's a really big thing, is that people lose that ability. And it also taught me a really good thing about how we don't operate in a bubble. We are also consumers. So you got to look at yourself and say, hey, what do I like to go through as a consumer? Do I like buying from robots? Well, yeah, if I'm buying socks online, but I go buy a car, I'm talking to a person. I buy my own insurance, I'm talking to a person. I mean, that's big for me. And if you make those assumptions that you are a human being, they're a human being, how you want to be treated, it goes a long way.
But the way the world's going right now is getting to the point where I don't want to go talk to a person. Like if I find a car I like, I'm like, oh God, I gotta call. This is gonna be horrible.
Well, that's also
there's gonna be some guy on there and like he just watched Grant Cardone and he's got 7 sales techniques he's gonna use on you.
Hate that.
And all this other stuff. And it's like, dude, you're messing up the sale. And I can't help but sales train. Like I'm like, dude, you're talking yourself out of the sale. Quit technique stacking and listen to me for a second. Yeah. And they're like, I ain't listening to you. I'm not trying to sell you anything. God, I have the money. I want to wire it to you.
Yeah.
Like, well, you come on in and take a test drive. I'll show you how good it is and our warranty. But it's like people are so bad that's why people want to go buy something online. That's why the Carvanas and all that are out there and having any success at all. I mean, as far as a big business, but people are buying cars from them, where they can make it a sustainable business model. But all the dealerships are learning how to get people to buy online and buy sight unseen and deliver the cars and all that, because people don't want to talk to salespeople because salespeople are getting so horrible.
That's it. They're getting really bad. Really bad.
Because they forget about connecting with people.
Right.
Period.
Yeah.
Done.
The boat club that I was looking at for a boat. Okay.
Freedom.
I'm not gonna say that. But there was a boat club.
Yes.
And
Brandon. It was.
it wasn't. But
Oh wow.
it
He
was,
loves Obama.
it was two different areas. It was one local one and one where we go. And I put in, request to become a member, whatever it is. Immediately, I got 2 text messages and 2 emails with the price list and everything like that. And they call me and they're like, all right, so you want to sign up for a membership? And I go,
No.
I don't even know. You don't even know my problem yet.
Yeah.
My problem is I'm trying to rent a boat for 1 week, maybe some down the line.
Mhm.
But I have this specific problem that I need help with. and immediately you send out, this is how much the packages are, this is how much you can do with the packages, here's a text message, text me back, call me here, okay, which one do you want to sign up for? Never once did they ask, what's going on?
Well, they're not even exercising the basic premise of I have to turn a shopper into an order placer. And they just go, that's all it is.
Everyone's looking for automation, and automation is great, but automation is great for back-end processes and all that to prop up the salesperson to make the connection
Right.
with the humans, and that's the long-term play. But everyone's looking to automate out their sales process, and they think they can sell through email and text message and all that. And those things can get some interest up and get you propped up at best. But when amateurs do it, it's even worse. They don't understand the connection between technology and the human being. But they think that if they mass produce enough in confidence, they send enough text messages and emails and the certain system, they're going to just kick back, be on the beach, and all these orders will be rolling in, and they'll be on their phone like, look, I made another $1 million this week. I got all those text messages right.
Mm-hmm.
That's not working.
It's not.
Yeah, buying online is great until you have a problem with the product. Then you want to talk to a person to get it fixed.
Yeah.
And good luck with that.
I keep telling,
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're exactly right. I keep telling people it's like insurance is ultimately a promise, and machines don't make promises. They don't. They just don't. And
my dad tells stories about how the VCR. Everyone was afraid the VCR was going to replace salespeople.
right.
Because when the VCR came out, all the companies were coming out. Look, we can record our presentation here, hand it out, send it out in VHS tape, mail them out to people. This was actually happening back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
People would get these things, and they thought the orders would just roll in because these expensive salespeople, we can just cut that line out. That's 30% of our 30% off the top. If we can cut that off, we're making 5% profit. It can be 35% profit.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying this since the 80s. The internet's gotten some commodities to where it can happen, different things. But for the hard things, the big things like insurance and financial services and all that, like
People think that this thing is.
relationships.
People think that this trend is like brand new for the internet. By the way, they were having these concerns and arguments when Sears put out the first mail order catalog.
Right.
This is going to replace all general stores and salespeople. You can buy a car on this thing. You don't have to buy a Model T or Model A. You can buy a house. And where are we now? You still have realtors. You still have insurance agents. You still go buy stuff from a store, or at least go try it on.
And you don't have Sears.
And you don't. Oh, where's Sears? Where's Sears?
Sears is gone.
Right? And by the way, you can see it with Sears, Fry's, and a lot of these other places. They start off really strong with a great sales place, a great personnel. They know their product and everything else, and then they get a little greedy and a little lazy. And next thing you know, I got a bunch of kids that don't know anything about the stuff I need to buy or how I'm going to use it, trying to go, what do you want? And it's just absolutely ridiculous to see this and go, that's going to be the future without a doubt. But everyone else has tried it is bankrupt. So I'm actually very, very, very optimistic about human to human sales for the long term.
Well, the worse they get, the better we look.
Absolutely.
If we take advantage of not only doing a better job, but demonstrating how we're doing a better job.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone gets on Medicare, not only do we do a good job for them, but we do it in a way where they go, no one else does this job. That's why, I always talk about, say, I'm going to be the best insurance agent you ever had. And at the end of this, you're going to tell all your friends and family about me. And when your kids get on Medicare and your grandkids get on Medicare, we're going to take care of them too. That's how good of a job I'm going to do for you. Because if you say that at the beginning, at the end, when you've done it, they go, wow, this was a good job. Otherwise, they think that's just what happens when you get on Medicare, right? So you got to do something to demonstrate, to make them feel, and then say, wow, no one's ever done this good job. They do stand out in fact. Without doing that, you still raise I call it their buying temperature, or their buying barriers. So there's the intangible of that. Like when I've done such a good job and I've gone through all the ins and outs and done everything that we teach to do, you do all that. Well, the bar is up here. The next person who calls and says it gets real transactional or whatever, like even if it's a better deal, they're like, yeah, I don't feel it. Because that's what we always had to overcome replacing insurance is that emotion. It's not the logical thing to make the decision, but ARP's been good to me. They paid my claims. It's AARP. I know who they are. They have name recognition. They love seniors, right? Whatever that emotional bar is what was my challenge to overcome. Then you just realize, hey, if that's the way the game's played, then let me raise our emotional bar so high that no one else can touch it. Because if it is ARP and you love them, you have ARP through Medicare Gurus.
Right.
Now, if you love ARP, then it's great. If you hate them, then the other way, whatever. But do you have me? By the way, which is better? Having Medicare Gurus is great, but having me instead of Frank, even better. But you're great with Frank, but even me, I'm even better. Yep. And he'll back me up if I'm out. So
right. Well, and
but raising that bar, however you can in their mind, inoculates them from all future competition. And that's what most agents don't realize is you're not just competing against who you think you're competing against. You're competing against everything that's going to happen in the future.
That's right.
Right. And that's why taking that time to inoculate them about, hey, Joe Namath's a great quarterback. He's selling unicorns here. Right. Saying those things. Hey, do you know you don't have to switch your Medicare supplement during AEP? You can switch this any time of year. It's just your Part D plan you have to worry about. We'll talk about that, and we'll make sure you're in the right spot then. But you don't have to. When AEP comes up and everyone, that 7 weeks at the end of the year, and everyone starts, like you see the commercials everywhere, and everyone's talking about Medicare, you just say, I'm good. Because the worst time for you to switch anything is during that busy time, because you're going to have seasonal workers coming in from all these big call centers. Everyone's going to be bombarded, even us. By the way, you're a customer, so you get top priority. You'll get all the time you need if you need us in that time. But please do me a favor and wait till after that so I can give you even better attention. Because I have so many people to help at that time, it's really hard to get to them. Of course, as a customer, you get top billing, but I can help you more after that. Oh yeah, that's cool. And then all of a sudden they get that burden off of them because they're like, oh, I don't have to switch at the end of the year. I don't have to sit here in this crazy time and be a part of it. I can just lay back.
That's right.
Do we say that to everyone every time we make a sale? And during the cool down, do we inoculate them to all those things? Not as good as we should. I mean, we do that some, but like the more we can do that, the more we can realize, in that time I'm on the phone with them, I'm not going to get much more time. And I can, especially right after that sale when those emotions are high and those cuddle hormones are kicking in, you can imprint all of these perceptions that you want on them to train them how to be good customers and how to get the most out of Medicare and their membership with us, right? Because if you don't get those in there at that time, well, I mean, and it's a sentence, it's sentences. You say 10 sentences, right, in 5 minutes. That's the point of the cool down. It's not, you can talk about the pecan orchard, their watermelons, or their grandkids. Better get those things in so you can keep that policy. Doing that well, you'll make 3 times as much money on that sale. Isn't that crazy?
Well, also, it's not just a matter of cool
Numbers
down.
prove that out too.
It's not just a matter of cool down too, because this is what people forget is that people try to combat people's feelings with facts, and it's not going to work. People love AARP and they love the fact that it paid a $20,000 claim within 10 years ago. They love that. People always sit there, well, that really wasn't AARP, and they start spewing out stuff that makes them feel bad about the way they feel right away, and they're not going to buy. Right? You can just keep that conversation going and build that trust, make them feel better about you than they do about their current thing, and then they can go with you. I mean, that's the whole secret about like opening up and doing a very good discovery, selector questions, and then by the time you get to the prepared statement, they don't care who they're with. They just want to be with you. And so you can't fight feelings with facts. It just doesn't work. So when we talk to people about, oh, how do I overcome these objections right here? Not yet. Keep the funnel open. I don't have that fight right now, and then by the time you get to the cool down, you're reinforcing all that stuff. Has anyone ever been on the phone? You've been on the phone with people who go, they're like, I don't know if I should. And you go, you don't have to. Like you just said, the burden comes off. that burden coming off, that feeling of relief that they're in front of someone who's going to be honest with them and not trying to just motivate them to do something right now, establishing a sense of urgency at the wrong time, right? You should establish a sense of urgency after they've already bought into the process, right? Like, for example, health questions. Do I have to make a decision? No, you don't make this. I'll just have to go through this entire process again. And they're like, oh, we just get it done.
Or no, it's one of the most confident things that you can do. And I don't want to buy anything. I don't want to sell you anything.
There you go.
Because the way I've structured it for some people that are really hard headed and they go, I'm not buying anything. I'm not switching anything. I go, good. I don't want to switch you, because if I don't switch you, then that means you have what you need.
Done.
Now, if you don't have what you need, I can suggest something for you, but I don't want to be in the situation. I don't want to know that you can do better for yourself. I want to know that you've already taken care of it.
Mhm.
You've gone to the depths of what the policy does, what it covers, and you know everything about it. I don't want to have to do that, because I want to move on to the next person who doesn't have that information.
How do they feel though? Like, I mean, like that knee jerk reaction. Like they have you in a typecast.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to switch. These people calling me to switch my insurance. I don't want to switch. Well, no one wants to switch. No one likes change.
Good.
Right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's how it is, and you're breaking that by, look, I don't want to switch you. But they think, and everyone thinks, their typecast of you is you're the pushy salesman who's going to try to push that one product that you happen to be selling for that one company onto them.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, the Medicare space is trying to make that true.
Right.
More and more with Medicare Advantage especially, but they're trying to think that you're that pushy salesperson. So even when you do get in the conversation, when you're the pushy salesperson trying to sell this, well, I'll listen to you. But then I'm going to call a couple other people and let their pushy salespeople talk. And I'll sit there and in my hide castle, and I will magically come to a great decision. And I will call that person back. This is what people are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
And I will magically call that person back, and I will place my order. Well, that never happens. No one ever actually does that. Finally, someone connects with them and they buy, or they just go, I'm tired of this, just whatever.
Yep.
Right? One of the two will happen. But that's the first thing that any salesperson has to do, is break that frame that they have. Let them know that you have their best interests at heart, that you don't have one company, that you look at all companies for them. And if you don't have anything right for them, you certainly won't recommend anything for them. And all that.
Well, you have to break the. Oh,
I
sorry.
that out.
Go ahead.
Sorry, it's just the very ending of this one here, where I had a lady go, I want to call around, and I go, okay, whose number can I give you? Who do you need? She goes, well, give me Cigna's number. I go, okay, it's 844-694-8787. She goes, who else is doing? Mutual of Omaha. What's their number? And I go, easy one. 844-694-86. She goes, that's the same number. And I go, exactly. Why don't you call it? Really? And I go, yeah. Get off the phone, call it real quick. I made sure to refresh my phone real quick. She called in and said, hey, it's Jacob, Medicare Gurus. Hey, Linda.
That's right.
She goes, what? And I go, that's right, because when you say call around, I'm around. We're everybody. So you don't have to do that.
Independent Enrollment Center.
And it stuck.
That's right.
Call 844 my guru.
Oh.
Get a Medicare guru. Let's end it there.
All right. Yep.
Anything else? Any bright words of wisdom?
Now, I like the breaking the frame. That's the biggest thing. Just
That's the first thing you have to do.
Absolutely.
You have to break their frame that you're a pushy salesperson trying to push one product down their throat. You break that, you gain their respect for what you really are.
You open their
and then all
mind.
of a sudden they go, oh, okay, let me listen. Let me
Right.
get in. That's the first thing you have to do. And that's the secret to cold calling.
it is. So
Everybody stay safe. 4th of July weekend.
Happy 4th of July, everybody.
no boating accidents.
No bottle rockets.
Just got an announcement just came through. I will be on Victor Gonzalez's podcast on July 14th, 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern. To register, go to facebook.com/insurance growth workshops. We're going to be talking about with Victor, who is just a stud coming out of the PNC business. We're going to be talking about how to overcome objections. I got some ninja stuff I'm going to be sharing on that I haven't shared publicly anywhere else. So go to facebook.com/insurance growth workshops, all one word, to register. Brandon, Todd, and Victor Gonzalez, Thursday, July 14th, 12 o'clock p.m. Go to insuralink.com, which forwards to insuresales.com, by the way. But InsureLink is our private social network, and the conversation goes on there with now hundreds. In 2 weeks, we've had almost 300 people sign up and are communicating and talking on there. Work-focused social media. It's like Facebook without all the Facebook for insurance agents. Anything else?
That's good.
Have a happy 4th.
that.
We'll see you here on Tuesday, same time. Take care. Happy selling. God bless.